Hey guys, Daemonxel back again with another Eve Frontier video. Base building. What you're going to need to set up shop somewhere so you can start progressing into bigger and better things. The initial assemblies you're going to have to build so you can get to the bigger ships and do production, everything like that. Let's talk about it. So we are talking base building 101. This is your start of the base when you're finding a Lagrange point. So that's the first thing we need to do is we need to pick out a L point. Currently, right now, let's ease out all the way out. So this is the system right here that I am in. And as you can see, it's a constellation system. I'm not going to click on the gates, obviously. But all these square points here, these are your L points. These are where you can build large structures, such as your network node, which you're going to need to power all your bigger points. So as you can see here, there are usually many in the solar system. So all of these are spots where you can build your base. So just go out, find one that's unoccupied, one that's in an environment that's rich for the resources that you're going to need, as well as aesthetically pleasing. The reason I say aesthetically pleasing is, let's go back to mine real quick. Now, I have my base set up here. It's right underneath a megastructure. So these megastructures are these structures that are left in the game from ancient civilizations that are in this whole universe of this, between these three black holes that are dying. So as you can see, it's kind of dark, so you can't really see it in the cam view, but as we go out to the tactical view, you can see it here. So the first thing we need to lay down, which I've stated in the other videos, is our network node. And that's going to basically generate the power that we need for all our assemblies, everything we're going to need. And that's right here. Let's go into a regular view. So our network node right here, let's open it up. Now, all of these systems that are going to be powered by the network node, unlike your portable storage, we have small storage units here. We're going to open them up. But unlike your other ones, when you hit I to bring up your inventory or go to your inventory button over there, it's not going to put it down. So even if you click on them, they're not going to be. It's hopefully in the future they'll make it a little bit easier to pull things out, and I'll get to that when we get to those points to move things around. But let's go to the main heart of our operation, and that is our network node. Let's go into this network node and see what we're dealing with here. Now, in this network node, it's going to show all the items that you have online that are hooked up to the network node. It's going to show the fuel that you're consuming per hour, what type of fuel you're using, and it's going to give you all your information here, such as the information that's on the blockchain, the owner ID numbers, everything like that. Obviously, I have my system blacked out. No offense, don't need you guys coming hunting me right now. Not ready for that yet, but everything is up and running. So, as we stated before, it's going to support just about every fuel that's out there except for the unstable fuel. And obviously, the higher grade fuel you use, the less it's going to use per hour. Right now, we're using the common D1 fuel, so it's using 10 units per hour. Now, if I had the EU90, which you get from Young Rifts, and that you can, refine down, it's only going to take 1.11 per hour. So it's really the biggest bang for your buck, because the general hold is 3,571. And on D1 fuel, roughly, if you have a full stack in here, it's going to be about 14 days. So either way, you're going to be covered. And it's so easy to get D1 fuel. You know, obviously, if you're not going to be online, you want to power it for a month. I think the EU90, if you fuel it totally, it's probably going to work out to, you probably need about a month, 2 months out of it before you have to refill it again. So these are all the items that we have set up in our base, and you can see how much power it's using from the network node, which ones are online. Now, we're getting up there because you can only have one network node per L point, that's a Lagrange point, and you can't go over 1,000, right? So we're going to scale this back when I start building bigger things to maximize the amount of power that is being consumed. So currently right now, what you need to beginning, because you're starting off in the reflex, that's going to be your explanation, and I'm going to be putting a video out after this, and it's going to be the beginning ship progression video. We're going to go over the ships, we're going to talk about what ships used for what, everything like that. So when you're building these bases, the network node gets dropped down first, and then it's up to you what you want to do. Like what I did first was I dropped this down, and I dropped the storage down. And let's go over to our other units here, and we go out to tactical view so you can see everything I got. So in my small, humble base right now, I have an assembler, I have my small shipyard, I have a regular refinery, I have a printer small, I have 2 portable printers, and 3 small storage units, as well as 2 refuges. Now, if you're using the portable things, like I said, if you don't interact with them at least once every 3 days, they will disappear. They'll dissipate. You won't be able to use them anymore, so anything that's in there will be lost. So just keep that in note if you're not going to be online or interact with these items. Now, when we go into the building mode, as you can see, it's going to take different things. So these are the cores. We did that in the first video. Industry, I would say you want to start off with at least a printer small. If you want to go right to a different ship, you're going to want to build an assembler, and you're going to want to build a shipyard small. Now, you're going to need these portable printers, and it's going to be a grind. And yes, this cycle has proven that the grind is real. So a lot of people have said that it feels more like Mining Simulator 2025 than actual a EVE game. But once you get everything up and running, it starts getting a little bit easier from that point. So the reason we want to have the printer small, right? Because you're going to have to do this in order, right? To do the printer small, to build these other things such as anything bigger like that printer right there or a bigger refinery, you're going to need something called building foam. And that's going to take, to build one of them, 65 reinforced alloys, 65 carbon weaves, and 65 thermal composites. So as you can see, there's going to be a lot of grinding and mining to get to this point. Now, you can jump the line. You can build something out of the building foam, and then you can just, take it, break it down, and use that foam to build something else. That can, minimize the time that you are building. But me, I'm grinding away and getting everything I need for it. Now, most of these objects, these smaller objects such as the printer L, sorry, not the printer L, just the printer, is going to take 2 foams. Now, the reason you want to go higher on these printers is because when you go to different ships, certain things can only be printed out with a certain printer. So basically, if you want to go into a frigate class ship, you're going to need a higher version of the carbon weave. So you need batch carbon weave. You need all these batch ones, which can only be produced by this printer here. The different apocalypse frames to build those ships is going to be done here. If you want to have tier 3 ammo for your autocannons, that can only be produced with this printer. Same with some of these other items. They can only be produced by this printer, such as, and when you get to a printer L, only those items can be produced by those printers. So it really is step by step building up higher as you go. Now, say you don't want to go on that first, right? You want to do PvE first, and you want to keep it minimal, right? Well, then all you're really going to need is maybe put up a storage unit. So the storage units themselves are relatively easy to build. We're basically going to, not the smart storage, we're going to go to the small storage unit, which is going to hold 20,000 M3 worth of items. And it's really easy. It's 250 common ore, 250 metal ore. You can pop them on, you online them. They don't use a lot of power from the network node, but I got 3 of them right now. Now, eventually, I'm going to move up to the regular storage unit, which houses 200,000 M3. It's a hell of a lot more than what I'm using here. And it's going to use a lot, it's going to be more cost effective to build that and break these other 3 down to free up some of that energy that's being put out by the network node. The smart storage unit can be built, that's a higher grunt, that's going to be 2.5 million M3. But as you can see, it takes 12 building foam. So that's a lot of grinding and printing. Because each of these items, the way I do it, right, is for the thermals, right? Let's go back here. To build the building foam, we need the thermal, we need the reinforced alloys, and we need the carbon weave. That being said, so carbon weave needs carbonaceous. Thermal composites needs carbonaceous. So what I do is when I set up in a carbon field, I drop these printers down along with some storage units, because if you use common ore, you just keep a bunch with you, and you just set up a small shop, basically a workshop there. And what I do is I just keep refining it down. I have usually 4 refineries going. I use 3 to break down the carbonaceous ore to give me ice and the carbonaceous materials, which I can then pop in to make the carbon weave. So all carbonaceous goes into that to make the carbon weave. All the ice will go into that 4th refinery to make D1 fuel. And as those are refining, because usually I do it in batches of 100, and they take about 8 minutes to break down. So, 8, 8, and 8. And while I'm waiting for them to refine down, any other carbon that I'm still continuing mining, I'm dropping in here to make thermal composites. So bang those 2 out right off the bat. Now, with the reinforced alloys, what I like to do is I would drop portable printers at my base, and I will go to the metal rich location. I'll drop down 2 storage units and just mine and put them in the storage units. And then once I have enough, maybe like 10,000 M3, basically 2 or 3 portable storage fulls, I'll fly it back to my base, pop it in here. Same with the common, pop it in here, and then I can just run batches of this. So basically these 2 right here, you are making from a carbon field. This I have at my base because you need 2 different ore fields to make it. Now once you are popping those out, right, then we can go ahead and build. Let's bring that up here. We can build our first our shipyard small, which you're going to need also printed circuits, which you can do from that portable printer. You can also do it from the printer small too, but like I said, if you're just going a PvE route and you want to build a PvE ship, you can just do it from there. Let's bring this up here, portable printer. And that's printed circuits, and that's going to use your silicates and your carbonaceous material. So again, you can drop this at your main base and bring some of those carbonaceous materials back, because like I said, it doesn't take much to make one. It's you do 1 whole refinery down of this, and then Metal Rich will give you the silicates. You can break them down, bring them here, and pop those out as well as you're making your reinforced alloys. Now, you're going to use those to build your shipyard small. And your shipyard small, once you build that, you place it down, you're also going to need an assembler unit. Now, the reason you need the assembler unit is because you're going to need this to make a lot of your modules for your ship. So let's go into those and I'll show you. Now, the shipyard small will only produce 4 ships. Like I said, we're going to cover that in another video. But this one right here is only going to cover, it's going to build your Wend, your Reflex, your Recurve, and your Reaver. Like I said, we're going to put out a video showing what each of these ships are good for, why you want to use them, and so on and so forth. So this only builds these ones. Now, your next one up, let's see here. It's going to be in another video, but your regular shipyard, that's going to be building for frigates, destroyers, and cruisers. And obviously, the next one up, the Shipyard L, is going to be for your battleships and your battle cruisers. Now, both of these take something else, and that you can only find in PvE sites. Certain PvE sites, it's called an exclave technocore to build the medium shipyard, and you're going to need the cyanoid technocore to build the shipyard large. Now, the assembler itself, like I said, that's going to produce a lot of your modules. So let's go into there. As you can see here, it's going to give you your armor restorers. It's going to give you medium cutting lasers. It's going to give you different engines for your other ships. It's going to give you the crude extractor. Now, this is to get your crude oil, because when you go up to frigate class and higher, you're going to need that EU40, SOF40, the SOF80, and the EU90. Those special fuels that you can only get from those rifts. But here you can get your different grades, even up to Tech 3 or Tier 3 levels of shield generators, armors. You can get coated. There's different armor plates you can get as well. Bulky gives you, I believe, higher HP. Nimble is less, gives you more speed. The coated gives you a little bit more resistance. Stuff like that. It's also going to give you cargo grids. It's going to give you adaptive nanocores, heat exchangers. Basically, a lot of the things that you can build that you need is going to be coming from here, as well as coil guns. Now, if you want to put coil guns on your PvE ship, now this is where it sucks. Yes, you can build them here, but the ammo to fill those can only come from that medium printer, the one that just says printer, not printer S or printer L, just printer. I like to call it the medium printer because obviously it's in the middle. But the to make the ammo, it only comes from that, and you can only get tier 1 ammo from that. I'm pretty sure with the printer L, you'll be able to make tier 3 or tier 4 coil gun ammo. But as you can see here, all the modules that you want for these beginning ships is going to come from this assembler. I put refuge down instead of hangars because I haven't gotten farmed enough to make more building foam yet. So as a poor man's hangar, what I've done was I just dropped 2 refuges because I have different ships in each one, because they can only house basically 1 ship each in these. So I have those down. So, and the placement that you put these on is really up to you. I try to keep everything within a 2 km perimeter, but let's go into the building mode here. Can we show you something here? Everything that you build has to be at least 1 km off of the node. So you can't put anything in this space. It can power all the way out, but whether you can access this or not, you're going to have to move closer and closer to be able to access it. Because remember, you have to be within 2 to 3 km to be able to access each of these. Now, when I told you about going into the smart storages, right? Let's go into the smart storages. Each time you go to these, you can't just hit I, you actually have to hit the interact button for every time. So it does get annoying. Say I want to build a ship, or I want to build a certain I want to build a certain module or something. I should probably write down the recipe, put it on my notepad or something, and then come over and take the items that I need, because you can't just access it when you're hitting that printer. You have to take these out, put them here, close this window, go to the assembler or the shipyard, or go to the assembler, then pop that window open by interact, move them up over to where you need them, go back and forth, because a lot of these ships do not have a very big cargo hold. I also dropped a regular refinery down. It's not a refinery L. Now, the reason why you want to do this, right? Obviously, I broke this down already. But as you can see, different from the portable refinery, when you break certain ores down, it'll give you additional items. So instead of in the portable refinery, when we break down metal rich, it gives us the silicates, it gives us the heavy metals. But in this refinery, it also gives us precious metals, which we need to make certain things for our ships. This will also give you your old and young crude matter. That's that material. So we break this down, right? And it's going to give us salt, and it's going to give us this, which is what is needed to make the additional fuel. And we do that in a printer to make that, you know, SOF 40, that SOF 80, the EU 90, and the EU 60, I believe. That's what is going to give us that fuels. But as you can see, in this refinery, we can break down additional, you know, asteroids. These are from murky fields, I believe, as well as other things. And here's our D1 fuel. We can make D1. We can refine D1 fuel into salt, which is used to generate other items. We'll talk about that in another video as well. Now, the refinery L, that's going to be the large one. That's what you really want to have if you want to be cranking out a lot of things. But that's going to take a lot more building foam. It's going to be a lot of grinding to do that. Let's bring up the refinery L. As you can see, it needs 10 of those building foams to do that. So 650 of each of those materials. So 650 reinforced alloys, 650 of those thermal components, 650 of the carbon weave. That's what you need to put this down. So it's going to be a lot of grinding to get that. Just let you guys know, the grind is real with this game. And like I think, this is still alpha. It's the beginning of this new cycle. So things may change as we progress into further cycles and closer to the launch. So I hope this video is helping you guys. I hope it is more informing you on the basics on, you know, your starting of your base building. Obviously, there's a lot of guys that are smarter than me, have much bigger bases than I do. But I hope this does help you. So until I talk to you guys again, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Fly safe. And remember, here on this channel, we are always one vision, one purpose, one front. I'll see you guys in the next video.